Why, hello, everybody, and welcome. I am your host today, Random Randy, and welcome to the channel. This is going to be probably on both feeds, but I couldn't help but, well, first of all, I can't help but notice something's going wonky with my camera. And it's not the camera itself. I've been having some really weird issues with my technology lately. Like the other day, I was doing a podcast and it was just all messed up, man. But anyway, hopefully it's recording properly right now. I'm showing a bit of a lag, but I wanted to kind of touch on this ridiculousness going on with this spinning of the earth, right? And I'm not invested in anyone's idea of the shape of this place. I think it's a silly thing to argue about. Um, Ultimately has no effect on many of us. I think that the way we should be looking should be like inward. But anyway, aside from that, like we've got this weird thing going on, right? Like a year ago, we got Earth is now spinning faster than it was 50 years ago. Okay. Talking about adding leap seconds and all of this. Let's get rid of that. All right, let's pull one open and we'll take a look at astronomy.com here. And we're just going to go through and look and see what these stories are saying because they're weird, right? It's weird stuff. And keep in mind, this is only, uh, uh, and remember the numerical value of some of these things, everybody. This was on 2/2/2022. Okay. And I'm going to show you something interesting about the Earth's core stopping here in a little bit. But anyway, the idea is last year anyway, Earth is spinning now faster than it was 50 years ago. Okay. Why the Earth rotates. Somehow they understand and know that hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth made 420 rotations in the same time it took to orbit the sun. Wow. Okay, so they must have records, right? I'm just guessing, right? Anyway, but anyway, so we were having this issue last year. Days were becoming shorter. Um, it's basically saying that Earth's rotation slowdown has slowed down. But then they're talking about it speeding up, spinning faster. So it's like, listen, everything is a contradictory thing going on here, right? And so we have this moment. I don't know if my video is coming through or whatever, but I guess I'll check when we're done. Um, and it's all over the place last year, right? Uh, then you fast forward 6 months, literally 6 months in one day, and you have this story that we need the first ever drop second because a wobble of the earth caused the shortest day since records began, they say. So there's just, it's weird. It's weird, right? What the heck's going on here? Planet is gradually slowing, thought to be down to the moon. Now I wonder if I can find the one. Here it is. Okay. So that was a year ago. Fast forward to this year. This year's recent news, the numerical significance here being 1 2 3 2 3. That's when all of this information started to come out. Some on the 22nd, but mostly on the 23rd. So 1 2 3 2 3. So we have a numerical significance there. I'm not the gematria guy, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But, you know, there it is, nonetheless. It appears as though my stuff is working okay. Good. Okay. So this is as of a couple days ago. We see that the Earth's inner core paused, then reversed its spin. Now, this is the interesting part here. This is fine. Okay, that's cool. That's all good. Just sort of stop spinning, right? Now, if you're born and raised throughout the 90s, the 2000s, much like I was, you begin to see so many horror stories about when the earth stood still. The day the earth stood still, right? Being a nod to extraterrestrials to some degree. I mean, if you've seen the Keanu Reeves movie, you know that they basically are going to destroy us because we are not taking care of everything, right? So that was the idea throughout the 90s and like the 2000s. Now that has switched in lieu of the what we'll call Palladian disclosure. All right. And we're going to just take a look at it just so you guys understand that the story has changed. The story has changed drastically over probably only like the last 5 years, really only since the To the Stars Academy and all of this stuff. Okay. So we have and many of these sites maybe just run by AI. I tend to think that what we call AI or computer intelligence is actually holding the reins and always has been providing the information to us slowly over time under the guise of these other beings. I think that that's a possibility anyway. But anyway, we have these folks, right, who are not here to destroy us. Okay. They're not here to destroy us. Uh, they're here to wake us up from the illusion so that we could see true reality. This is just what they're saying, right? It's just what they're saying, everybody. So, you know, what does this the day, all right, so 2 days ago being the day that the earth stood still. Okay, now keep this in mind, right? We live in upside down clown world. That's clearly obvious. Now, the day the earth stood still, we're going to look at the Wikipedia on that and we're going to see what the story is, okay? It's a science fiction movie, and if I'm not mistaken, it was a book before that. So, the day the earth stood still, right? From out of space, a warning and an ultimatum. Okay. And the way it's pushed across from the 50s to the mid 2000s was this kind of an idea. Flying saucer lands Washington, D.C., tall robot uh, with an alien ordering it. Um, Explains that they're here to study us. The alien Klaatu, or Keanu, is he heals quickly, and they can't get into the saucer, and blah blah blah. It goes on and on. Anyway, this kid shows this being the beautiful things about humanity, right? So, are we in a the day the Earth stood still scenario? Is that what's trying to be extended to us by letting us know this? And was this part of the last hurrah of a previous era? I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm just following the storylines. I'm not saying that, I 100% invested in any of these storylines, but it's interesting to say the least that we have a complete reversal, right? Meanwhile, in the background of everything is Clown World, upside down inversion, right? So, is the inversion the simple fact that supposedly these aliens are here to help us now, right? Transcend or what have you, right? Um, moving through dimensions and so on. And there's a lot of talk of strong energies and all of this spirituality, vibration, and everything through this form of disclosure. And it supposes that there's a link between these Pleiadians and all of this and previous existing civilizations that were here at one point, that we're told are here: Atlanteans, Lemurians, Moors, right? So, are these other existing civilizations just previous versions that have gone through whatever this is that we are going through? And maybe in the past, in one of their situations, the ultimatum was given to them, right? The space ultimatum. And may not be the go-to understanding of this, but just what if we're just doing things differently this time around? Everything seems to change once you realize that this is definitely a repetitious thing that is happening on this earth. It has happened before, and it will most likely happen again. And it's a very long story. Uh, I tend to believe that it's not as long as we like to understand. Like we like to think about it like the Earth as we know it has been here for like 6,000 years. That's kind of the going consensus. Um, is that legit, or are we just plopped down here, kind of created for this experience, and then removed or phased out? And is that what's happening with the like transhumanism, integrating technology thing? Like, is that the next phase? And furthermore, what is the next phase going to teach us? Is there a certain level that we have to reach before we are allowed to have these free energy technologies as a society, right? Like there are definitely people out there that have the minds and the capabilities and the infrastructure and the money and all of this to have these incredible technologies probably underneath their mansions, or wherever, right? Like in a volcano, or whatever we're used to seeing. Now we're very used to seeing uh these types with their bases inside of volcanoes being the bad guy, like James Bond, etc. But and this may be a safe place to sit, and Drew, from You're Missing the Point, we spoke about this, and that episode will be up relatively soon. But he made the comment that this that could be just a safe place to sit and enjoy the show, and that may very well be. I'm with that. I'm so with the way my mind thinks as being a coping mechanism due to the state of the world, because we're just bombarded with all this negative crap and everything from all angles. And so if you don't buy into it, you're sitting on a fence, right? Um you're not engaged, so it doesn't count. Like if you don't want to engage in like the duality of it, like suddenly you're looked down upon somehow, and by the society, like by this bulk humanity that's out there. But anyway, it's weird, right? I mean, am I the only one that's not noticing that like there's all these nods to these other stories within every single thing that happens every single day? And if you don't see this as a nod to the day the earth stood still, like listen, it paused. They're telling us that it stood still, the inner core anyway. But trip out on this. There is Jiadong Song, a seismologist at Peking University in Beijing, and the author of the study. He says the inner core is like a planet within a planet. So, all of you inner Earth theorizers, there it is. Are we being told that it's a completely different planet? Generally is important how it moves, but it really is not affecting us. So we're being told it's fine. This is fine, right? Um, they're still, sugarcoating it and saying it's like a heavy. I do think it is a denser planet, right? But what does that really mean? Um, yeah, what does that really mean? And all of those folks that are out there that and again, he says it's weird that there's a solid iron ball kind of floating in the middle of the earth. And if you've ever seen nods to like the center of the earth, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and all that, like there's this floating thing that is like the power source, right? Now, keep in mind that magnetism, electromagnetism are like inherently linked. Okay. So if you have a spinning magnet in the center, it would create all of these things. And if you needed to make changes to the waveforms and patterns in a place, you would affect the magnetic field, thereby implementing these changes. So, what is going on? What is being manipulated and why? I guess that's my question. What's going on? Supposedly, they're telling us a year ago, right? At the end of the fear cycle, which is the way it seems to me. I think we're even the songs on like your rock station have changed and become this weird form of like upbeat metal telling you about how your heart works and all of this other stuff. So is anybody else seeing that out there? Is anybody else seeing this things on K Rock or whatever your rock station is out here? It's Laser 103.3. Of course, it's 3.3, right? But anyway, like, is anybody else seeing this pivot, this change of there's too many of us around to, we're more than just machines, and I'm just talking about rock songs, guys. I mean, it's out there in everything. There's been a big shift in the messages of things over the last 5 years, and that's definitely by design. And we're seeing a shift in the stories also happening. We're seeing some credence, some credibility being given to the free energy idea, right? It's now being suggested that like bricks are batteries, and we just found this out, and now we're going to use it. And I think that's great. I think we need to implement many of these things instead of wondering where they went. Once we realize that we understand how they work, we need to put them to use, and we need to better the world and better ourselves. And I think that's a great thing. But why the pivot? Like, why the mass pivot? I can say from like a personal point of view, it seems to line up kind of closely with my perspective on things, which has changed over the last 5 years. Um, so am I the only one out there having this experience? If you are also having an experience that is strangely lining up with your inner dialogue and everything, and you're beginning to see as within, so without, then please leave a comment in the comments here, and I'll get back to you on that. But just weird, super weird, right? The day the earth stood still, guys. And so we're coming out of this nuclear scare, this ridiculous nuclear scare, that no, but listen, guys, nobody's gonna nuke the earth. Okay. Like, this thing is a freaking big money machine. They're not gonna nuke it. They might move people around, do things to upset certain balances to gain more control in certain areas, but they're not gonna nuke it, guys. So just, be aware that there's other ways that they're doing things. But anyway, enough on that. And so, I mean, clown world, right? Upside down, day the earth stood still. Have we already received a form of ultimatum? And are we in the process of engaging with that opportunity? Is that what's happening? Is that what the change is? Like, back in the 2000s, right around 2008 or 2009, when supposedly, based on some stories, is when the actual stop of the spinning of the earth happened, back right when the digital age began, right when all of our TVs suddenly couldn't receive analog signals anymore. They had to go to digital. Is this why they went to digital? Is that why? I think that's the question that I have. And I don't know still if I'm recording or if you're just looking at a picture of my face on the screen. But either way, just some weird thoughts. I wanted to share those with everybody out there. Much love to you. Thank you all for tuning in. And have a great rest of your day, your night, whatever it is for you. And stay vigilant, pay attention, enjoy the ride, live in love, and all of that jazz. Take care.